More on Biden's move to reverse Trump's efforts to expand drilling, as well as a decision to scrap sanctions against the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Joining us now, Mark Menezes, former Deputy Secretary of Energy. Mark, good to see you again. You know, I want to really drill down on ANWR because I'm really annoyed about this. I'm sure you are too. But just tell me, for simplistic purposes, so let me get this right. The Biden administration stopped the XL pipeline. The Biden administration is stopping the ANWR drilling, which Trump got through after people tried for 30-something years. But the Biden administration is, Mark, helping to complete the Russian gas pipeline. So I would say this is America last, Russia first. You have a take on that? I know I'm rephrasing it, but what do you think about that?
Well, Larry, it's great to be with you today. I agree with Senator Murkowski. The decision today may not have been totally unexpected, but it certainly was outrageous. You made the point that Congress played a key role in this. Mm-hmm. This was not a decision that was made in the last days of the Trump administration on issuing these leases. Congress essentially mandated the administration to establish an oil and gas program. And that it took years of study. There's probably no other real estate in all of America that has been studied more than ANWR. This legislation that you talked about was really a culmination of policy debates and congressional action going back decades. Yeah. It was a deal that was put together that, arose out of work to lift the oil export ban. Alaska was always exempt from that. But we extended renewables, tax credits. The legislation in 2017 was a very well put together bill that, was an all of the above approach. The studies took place during the Trump administration, and the leases were granted after really a tremendous amount of work that was done.
Mark, I don't mean to interrupt.
Again, I think the record will be clear.
No, absolutely. I just want to, make some thoughts here. First of all, the thing about ANWR, okay, look, I'm all the above kind of guy. I think you probably are too. But you have to think not just about oil, but of natural gas. We're probably going to drill, if we ever do, and we're going to discover a lot of oil, but we will discover more natural gas. I mean, I don't know that. I'm not a geologist, but that's the history of these things in the Permian Basin and others. You get so much damn gas, you have to flare it out. Then the price goes down. And guess what? We can ship LNG to Europe, or we can ship LNG to Asia. Mark, that is in America's interest. That's the point I'm making. That is in our interest to develop more gas, to protect us, if nothing else, than to provide home heating oil. That's what infuriates me. On the one hand, we're giving it up to Russia, and on the other hand, we're stopping it here at home. I just, I don't get it. And one other point I want to make. The Department of the Interior, the Secretary of the Interior, this is, I think, a BLM, Bureau of Landmines thing, or maybe not. But I always argued against Deb Howling. Not personally. I never met the woman. I'm sure she's a very capable House member from New Mexico. But we know she had a record where she was opposed to fossil fuels and opposed to pipelines, Mark. And I couldn't understand why a lot of good friends of mine who were elected officials from Alaska, including my dear friend Senator Sullivan, voted for her. Because she's in the forefront of this. She's in the forefront of stopping this Arctic National Wildlife thing. Last point.
Well, what we know is there are going to be clear winners and losers in these types of decisions. Whether you're stopping a pipeline, you're stopping ANWR development, you're stopping necessary infrastructure, Larry. And the winners are going to be, as you say, OPEC countries and Russia.
Right.
They're the ones that are very much happy with this. They tried to squeeze the U.S. producers out. We saw this when they tried to limit production, and U.S. producers came in and filled that, and the United States became the #1 producer. And it brought competition around the globe. Prices fell, and the U.S. was producing, and we became very much independent. There are clear losers in this decision: Alaskans, U.S. consumers, U.S. jobs, U.S. technology, U.S. manufacturing. these are the clear losers in this type of decision.
High-wage jobs.
What strikes me, and I think what really bothers those of us that have been working in these policy arenas for decades is that ANWR, was a result of a lot of debate and discussion and sound policy with protections for the environment in the bill.
Right.
And yet we know
Right.
that it's really an ideological issue.
Right.
You just simply have to say ANWR still today, and people run to corners. And it's ideological. It's not based in science. It's not based on facts. It's not based in law.
I got to go, buddy, but you're absolutely right. I'll just say this one last thing. I lived through, 3 years the NEC helped us develop LNG exports. And everybody in Europe wanted LNG exports. They did not want Russia, and they disagreed with Germany. And by the way, in Asia, they want LNG exports, too, from the United States. It could have been one of our most fabulous industries. And you're right. We're talking high-paid jobs. I got to get out. Mark, we'll have you come back and talk some more about this. I have a feeling this will not be our only Enviro disappointment.